Hi guys, I'm ArchieLuxury and welcome to the ArchieLuxury channel. And today I want to continue the series, Why I Love This Watch. And today I want to talk about my very special Rolex watch. And this is my Rolex Explorer 2. It's reference number 16570 and I have this in the Polar, the white dial. Why do I love this watch? And this is quite an interesting tale. The Rolex Explorer 2, it's always been such a cool piece. I've owned this model a number of times. I've owned it with a black dial and a white dial. And I've got to be completely frank with you, I probably love the white dial a smidgen more. Mind you, when I do see a black dial one, I do love them as well. The Rolex Explorer 2, this really is a fantastic, complicated sports Rolex. Not only does my model here have the revised case with the no holes, that's a no holes case, but it also has got the solid end links. This is the better bracelet. My Rolex Explorer 2, I think, is probably the most perfect travel watch. Why do I say that? Why didn't I pick a GMT? Well, I really love the steel bezel, the fixed steel bezel. See, I find it very hard to read 24-hour hand at the best of times, to read 24-hour time at the best of times. But with a fixed bezel, it's not rotating, you don't smudge it, just bump it accidentally. It's perfectly set in stone or in steel, in Rolex steel. And I think as a travel watch, this is the ideal piece to have. And I have taken my Rolex Explorer 2 on many overseas adventures. When I'm in Australia, I have the time set to local time and the 24-hour hand in 24-hour time in reference to the local time. That way there, when I travel, I can just very easily adjust the 12-hour hand and change time to the new location whilst retaining the 24-hour time of my home base. Why do I love the Rolex Explorer 2 so much? Well, this goes back to my first ever Rolex. The first Rolex I ever owned and bought was a Rolex Explorer 1, the 1016. The year was 1990. I said to a contact in the jewelry trade, get me a Rolex, any Rolex, get me any Rolex you can. And the year was 1990 and he managed to get a Rolex Explorer 1 1016, the last of the plastic Explorer 1s. It was an L serial number, which signifies it was from 1990. And this watch here I would enjoy for many years. Unfortunately, I sold it later, but I always had respect for the Rolex Explorers. The 1016 was such a cool watch. It was a sports watch with a very distinctive dress watch flair, black dial, and lack of complications. At the time, if I had the money, I would have chosen either a Submariner date or a Rolex Explorer 2 Polar. So the Rolex Explorer 2, when I started getting a few Rolexes in the late 90s, really harked back to my first ever Rolex, the 1016 Explorer 1. It had the improvement of a date function and also a 24-hour hand, which was independently adjustable from the time. I really liked the fixed steel bezel, and over the years, Rolex has improved this watch ever so slightly. They improved the case to being a no holes case. They improved the end links to be solid end links. They improved this piece just ever so subtly as the years went by. And I've got to tell you, I love this watch because it pays homage to my first ever Rolex, the Rolex Explorer 1. So my decision to have a Rolex Explorer 2 was really based on, if I had the money, what would I buy? And I've always loved the Explorer 2. In recent years, the Explorer 2s have been soft compared to the Rolex GMT family. But in the 90s, the roles were reversed. The GMTs were the dog of the Rolex sports range, whilst the Explorers were quite hotly contested and sought after. Here is another Explorer 2 on the screen here. This is one here which I owned before the current one. And you can see here it has the Holes case with the non-solid end links. This is the not quite as good bracelet as the one I currently own, but to the untrained eye it looks basically the same. And I have a long lineage of owning Rolex Explorer 2s. And I've got to tell you, out of all the Rolexes in the range there, when I've gone bust, when business has gone bad, what watch do I hark back to? It's always the Rolex Explorer 2. And I've had ups and downs in life, marriage, divorce, all sorts of nasty things. And when I've had no luxury watches at all, what watch did I lust after most? It was the Rolex Explorer 2. So it can be no problem at all where I tell the audience here that to me, this is my Rolex. This is my Rolex watch. This is my personal Rolex for my enjoyment. It doesn't need to impress anyone besides me. And the thing I love most about the Explorer 1, which carried on to the Explorer 2, was that it didn't scream Rolex. This was for a true Rolex lover and connoisseur of the brand. And I must say, I think the chance to own a white dial sports watch is something which is to be embraced, because there are so many black dialed other contemporary sports watches. The Omega Speedmaster Man on the Moon, black dial. The Rolex Submariner, black dial. But the Explorer 2, you can get that in black, white or cream dial. And I have to say, I love my white dial Polar Explorer 2. It's just such a cool watch to have to travel around and do things in life. And to me, the Rolex Explorer 2 will always be special. It's an automatic. It uses the 3135 movement, which is a highly regarded movement, similar to the movement used in the, it's the same movement used in the GMT2 of the same period. It's also very, very versatile. It's so cool. This watch here, you can wear with a suit. You can wear in casual clothes. It just, whether you're in the boardroom, the bordello, or in court fighting for your cause, the Rolex Explorer 2 is just so cool and trendy. You might be flying around the world, experiencing life at its fullest, but the Rolex Explorer 2 is part of your lifestyle, your avant-garde lifestyle. And I gotta tell you, it's one of the watches which I would never sell. The Rolex Explorer 2. It's for the gentleman around town. It's for the man who is a mover and shaker but doesn't want to scream classless crap out of his mouth. This is a piece for somebody who just wants a beautiful watch, a beautiful Rolex watch. To me, the Rolex Explorer 2 is just perfect. Perfect proportions, perfect size, absolutely perfect. I don't care if it's less or more popular than other models. It's a watch that I love and cherish very, very much. the Rolex Explorer 2. What do I think? I think it's quite honestly a perfect sports watch for the enthusiast and watch lover to own and to possess. I personally always want to have a Rolex Explorer 2 in my collection. It's a piece I always enjoy wearing and love to come back to. If I need to go somewhere and it's a little bit rainy, there's no problems because the Rolex Explorer 2 is, like all Rolex oysters, it's waterproof. It is a waterproof watch. So one can wear this into areas where one can wear this watch into areas that have water type issues. And to me, it's just a quintessential businessman's watch to have. I love owning a Rolex. I've always loved Rolex watches, and I think my collection must always have a Rolex watch in it. The fact that I choose the Rolex Explorer 2 tells you that I take this watch extremely seriously. I've owned this watch over the years. I've owned probably half a dozen Rolex Explorers. Always been attracted to the brand, the marquee, for its symbolism and greatness. I love the Rolex Explorer 2, and I hope you share my passion for this Rolex classic. I'm ArchieLuxury, the pontiff, the governor's governor, the guru's guru. Tell me what you guys think of that. Hi guys, ArchieLuxury, ArchieLuxury channel. Guys, I want to talk to you today. It's very, very important. Man cannot live on Google Ads alone. I depend on your support to keep me on YouTube full time. Guys, there's a number of ways you can help me stay on YouTube producing content. Number one, you can organize a paid review. That's right. I will make a video for US $20 minimum, and I will review your collection. I'll answer a question for you. So, normally takes, about 14 days, 10 to 14 days for me to make these vids. The other thing you could do to sponsor me and help me stay full-time on YouTube is sponsor me on Patreon. Patreon allows you to pay a small amount of money, like $1, $2, $5, $10, $20, anything, any amount you want over $1, you can, and it basically sends $1 each month to me. Now you can cancel at any time if you're sick of the show or you don't like me anymore. So guys, help keep me full-time on YouTube. Paid reviews, I do. Sponsor me on Patreon, and Patreon people get advanced screening of some videos and secret videos. Not to mention I got advertising space on the fridge. Come on guys, keep me full-time on YouTube.